G'day folks, in this video I'll show you how you can solve the Crazy Grills Mars. Now this puzzle is, in my opinion, probably the hardest of the Crazy Grills cubes of planets, and the Mars puzzle has three faces which are one faces, and those faces are the white, the green and the yellow, and you can see all the center parts turn with the face, and those three faces are all in a line, which means the other three faces, the orange, blue and red, are all zero faces where those center parts stay fixed. So as I said, I think this is the hardest of the lot. If it's not the hardest, it's certainly in the top two, but I reckon it probably is the hardest. One of the reasons is it's impossible to flip edges in the standard way we would normally do it. That turns out to be a bit of an issue. So there's a few different points here to the normal solve of this. I'm going to be solving it Jupiter style. In other words, I'm going to be reducing it to a grills cube, not to a circle grills or a crazy grills, as I would with a Jupiter or Uranus, something like that. So that's the general technique, but all the way along, stuff's just harder. So the first thing that I want to do here is, because of the nature of these faces, the edges between the red blue and the orange blue, I want to deal with some parts of them first. And specifically, I want to get, I actually don't care about the middle central edge bit, but I do care about the edge wings and the triangles. So the very first thing, I want to get the triangles into place. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 triangles that I want to get there. This is relatively straightforward. I see a red position, so I'm going to turn that position up to one of the one faces which can turn, and then put it on. That's done. I'll do the same sort of thing with the blues. Here's one of them. That, of course, does not dislodge the red there. Now, I've got a blue over here, so I can happily just turn that along. For the oranges, there's an orange that can go, well, it could go into this one. Now, there's a demonstration. I was about to turn that around, but of course I can't. I need to turn the corner onto this face and then turn the triangle along. Got another orange one up here. Two oranges. I've got two blues to do here. Now, where do I get those blues from? They are there. So I will need first just to turn them onto this face and put it in, and then two reds, two blues, one more blue to go. That blue, I'll use the white face to do it, and to get that blue to the white face. And the reason I need to use the white face is because I can't turn it up to here to meet the yellow face. So to get it to the white face, I'll have to take it to the green first and then put it onto that white face. And now it's able to be turned into position. So two oranges, all four blues, two reds. Now, this next bit is one of the trickier bits, and what we want to do is, you can see there a blue-orange outer edge wing. I'm going to have two blue oranges and two blue reds, and I want to attach each outer edge wing to a circle edge wing of appropriate color and then place it. So I'm going to ignore that one for now because it's kind of half done. I'll get to that later. Let's start with the blue reds. So here's a blue red, and what I want to do first is attach the little red and blue parts to it. So I want to take it over to this side face here, which is an orange face in this case. And what I'm thinking about is that red can turn down to there, which means I want to attach it to a red circle piece that is sitting in that position, which means I need to get a red circle piece into that position. There's one up here, so I can turn using these one faces to put it there. I'll bring that around to attach it, and then just move that up to this white face. Now, I haven't done anything here yet, so I don't need to turn back this face, but I'll get into good habits. And then turn that around, and I want to do the same thing with the blue, which means I need a blue piece here. So again, I can see there's one up in that position that I can place down here for now. There's the outer piece, so I'll turn it to attach, move it up to that face, and return the orange face. Now I've got this blue-red correctly reduced, and I want to place it in here. I want to think about the position that it's going to go. I can see that if I turned on that corner, it would correctly place with the colors correct. Okay, so what that means is I first need to move it out the way so that I can turn its position up to this white face. Now you can see that the triangle has moved out. So what I need to do, I can't simply turn this back, because if I do, that triangle's not there. So I need to do something like do a 3 cycle to put this over here and retain the relationship with that triangle. So I'll turn it off, bring the triangle around, return it, and then move it back into place. And you can see now I've got all of that ready to turn back in to there. Okay, that's 1 out of the 4 that's done. We'll go and find one of the other ones. There's a blue-red here. I'll grab this, and again, let's see, it's got the red already done. So what I'll do is turn it up to the white face here. Again, I haven't done any blue oranges yet, although having said that, that's pretty close to being done. And just looking at that, you could see when I did that, it turned onto a nice orange piece there. So I think I will just abandon that blue-red for a minute, see if I can grab that orange piece and just turn it off to safely store it. That is safely stored now. So let's see if we can place that into its correct position. Again, we can see this one is going to turn down like that. So I'll just need to turn it off so I can bring the triangles up and do the same sort of thing. And that is now attached to those triangles, ready to turn in. Okay, that was a good thing to do, saved a little bit of time there. Back to the blue-red, wherever that's gone. It's somewhere. There it is. Okay. So again, I've got the blue-red. I'm looking for the blue, and I like a blue piece to be there-ish. Now there is one sitting here, so I can bring that down, turn it on, and return it. That is now ready to place. So I'll have a look. This one's already in, so that tells me it must be on the other side. So I've got to move that to the yellow face, and we'll just see where that needs to turn. Okay, that's going to turn down to there. So again, I'm going to just turn it around to there and then bring that triangle up so that I can place it on the triangle in the same way. And put that into position. So there's those two done. Now it looks like I've lost that blue-orange, which is one of the reasons I said I should turn my faces back all the time. So that was easy enough to put in. I've now got one remaining blue-orange to reduce. There's a blue part which can go onto there. So I'll put that on, turn it up, and you can see this one's come out. So that's why I need to turn this back. Get it ready here. Same thing with an orange if I can find an orange. Now notice there is an orange piece here which can be turned like that by turning the corner. Attach, turn up, return. Okay. Again, this is now ready to turn down like that. So we'll turn it off, bring the triangle up. Now, interestingly, this time, if I tried to do it, I would be turning this red face, which is not the sort of thing that I want to do. So I will only need to turn it one turn around by the look of it. Then I can turn that up. Okay, now I can remove that piece, turning the green face, put the triangle there, return it, and get it into position so that can be turned down. All right, that is looking fantastic. That is the end of the first stage, which is to get those 4 bits with their triangles done. All right, the next stage is to reduce the remaining edge wings. So these bits here. And the way I want to do this is to hold the red face on the top, the blue at the back, the orange at the bottom. So in terms of the face that I'm going to use to do the reduction is going to be this red face, because that can turn like that. But I do not want to turn the back face because it'll disrupt things. I also do not want to turn the down face. That's one of the reasons this becomes trickier. Normally, with some of the previous puzzles of this same type, I would happily be able to turn that down face to position pieces, but now I can't. I've only got the left, the front, and the right that I can turn to get pieces where I want them. So let's have a look, first of all, at, this is not a bad one here. I've got 2 types. I've got what I'm calling the left and the right. So I'm going to work through the left ones first. And I've got a circle yellow piece there. What I need is to have an outer yellow piece either here or here. Normally, I just go for there because you get into a bit of a rhythm with it. So I do have a yellow one there. That's fantastic. That's going to turn onto here and attach. I'm going to replace that with a third piece that I want to position down there. And what I'd like, I look at this circle part here, which is white, and I would like an outer part of the same color. So this is perfectly set up here to get 2 done. I'm going to get the yellow done, and I'm going to get that white done, and I will be left with an orange outside of a blue. Pretty simple to carry it out once you've got the pieces there. Twist around to attach, turn it on the corner. Now replace it with this piece with an up, up, down, down. That's done. Undo the corner turn, undo the face turn. You can see the white is reduced, the yellow is reduced, and we are left with an orange blue. And then I would go again. So right, I've got a blue circle part. I need a blue outer part here. So I can happily turn the left face. So I'll just initially turn this around, see if there's any blues. There's none there. Let's have a look on the right face, which I can also turn. There's a blue there, which is going to be the same as here, which is here, which is here, which is here. So that's fine. That tells me that's an appropriate one that I could use if I want. And in order to get it to where I want it, I'll firstly turn it to that position. And then I'm going to bring it, I would say, over to probably here. And I'm just going to use lots and lots of up, up, down, downs. And then I can turn it on the corner like that. So that is now able to be positioned to here. Going to move this to this one, this over to here, and the blue up to that position. Simple 3 cycle, there it is, ready to go. Again, I'll look at this green circle and I'd like a green outer to be sitting here. That's brilliant. And in fact, I think I'll get 3 done here. Blue goes to blue, orange goes to orange, green goes to green. That is ideal. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now you'll notice that these blue reds here are turning around every time, but as long as I carry out this routine, they are not going to disrupt. So I always want to keep those sitting there, and that's fine. So I've got nothing here. What do? Just turn a corner, put another one in its place if I can. Is orange. Let's put an orange outer piece there. And this is where it becomes a little bit tricky to find the one you want. There is one here which would do the job, so probably what I would need to do be to turn it around to there, twist on the corner, and now turn it up into that position. That's good. That's a red circle, so I need to put a red outer. And I see one there potentially. I don't know if that's the right one. Let's just turn it. I think it is because it's going to go there. So once again, I can now move it to here. I think up, up, down, down. That will come to there. That's the thought process there. It's now ready to turn. You can see there's the red blue I was talking about. It is involved here, but it does not get replaced with anything. So now it's turned back to where it should be. That's done. We've got an orange. This orange here is actually looking good. That looks similar to one we had before. And they will start to look familiar, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's ready. I need a red down here, ideally, which is not done. So let's just see, there's a red, wrong one. That, however, is the correct one. So what I can do here is I could actually turn this down potentially, except I need another face there and I can't really do that. So I think what I'll have to do, because I don't want to disturb this one. So there's a couple of things that I could do. One thing I could do is just turn that corner off temporarily. Then I can move the red down to there, just to get it out of that same position. Turn that back and I'm good to go. Okay, that's now positioned the piece where I want it. And away I go. Now at this stage, I'm fairly sure I've completed all the ones on the left. Sometimes I think I have and then I find one later. That's okay. I'm going to assume they're done now. So I'm going to turn my attention to the right hand ones, and it's done in the same way. I want to get a second piece here or else here, whatever works. And I'm just doing the mirror. So this is a red circle piece. I need to get a red outer piece up to here. And first thing obviously is to locate one. None on that side. Of course, I've used two of them already, so there's going to be not that many. Here's one that I can now go and place into that position. Okay, that's ready. I now need a white piece, not to be here, but to be over there. And that can be just turned on the corner, and I'm now ready to go. So I turn it round, bring this top right corner down, and now put the piece on. It's done. Return the corner, return the face. That's an orange. So I'm now looking for an orange piece. There's one. And so what, I've got a couple of options. I could just turn it on that corner, which will then allow me to position it. That is a yellow, that is an orange. So I've got opposite colors here. So I can either just get a third unrelated color here, or I could say, well, that's supposed to be a yellow outer here, and I want a yellow inner for this one to come to. So I could try and put a yellow completed piece in that position. That's one option. I can't see one instantly. The other thing I could do is try and get the same of one of these colors, like a yellow orange, which I can see here. And so I will put that piece onto the side first of all, and then turn that around. And that will at least get me 2 done. That will come back and complete that one there. And then away we go. Now I reckon I'm on the last set here because I can only see, looking around, I've got these 2 set up and the only other one I can see is this green yellow, and the green yellow perfectly matches these other 2 colors. So I'm going to assume this is the last set, and then I'll check at the end. Just want to get that down to there. Okay, everything's in position. So I'll turn that on and turn the corner. Now replace, undo the corner turn, undo the face turn, and now we'll have a check. You can see they're still there, they're still there. Those ones are done, those ones are done, and now we'll check around the sides. That all looks good. Everything looks fantastic. Okay, so that has completed the reduction of those edge wings. Well, the next thing that I want to do is reduce the central edges. There is a completely reduced central edge. The orange and the white contains the circle parts there. That's one that's completely unreduced. So what I want to do here before I start, in order to do this, I'm going to use the red face again. I want to get all edge wings of the same color on that face. Now, because that's red, I'm going to just use red, and it doesn't matter if they're matched or not. So red, white, red, yellow, that's totally fine. There's a couple more, so I'll put those 2 up to there. I now want to get the other lot into position. So I'll just, you can see that's got to be turned up to there, but I don't want to dislodge that one. So I'll put it down the bottom temporarily, turn its position down, and then put it on. And now I can turn it back with that one there. There will be one more somewhere. It's over here. So let's firstly get that over to this region. And now just consider where it's got to go. I think I need to turn it to there initially. Yep, and then same thing. I can turn this corner and now put it onto that corner. And return, and all 8 reds are sitting there. What that means now is as I reduce my central edges, none of those edge wings become unreduced. So what am I trying to do here? Well, I'll just have a look at this yellow. That's a yellow outer. I want to put a yellow circle part here or here next to it. And the way I want to do that, this is again is trickier because I can't turn the orange face. As soon as I do that, you can see I muck up all of this stuff I've just done. So that's where this becomes more involved. I'll just have a look here and see if there's an obvious thing to do. There's not really. That would have been a good one, except that it's already done. So let's come back to this side and say, how can I get a yellow in that position? Well, because I haven't done this one yet, I haven't looked at that, and I can turn the side face. I can just do a setup to put a yellow one there, and now up, up, down, down. And that is only going to touch the central edges. It does not disturb the edge wings. But more importantly, it's put a yellow circle piece next to this one. I'll just undo that to get the reds back. So I've got a yellow going onto a yellow. Then I say, oh, now I've got a red that needs to go onto a red. Here's a red here. The nice thing about turning these up is that it doesn't matter what face I'm on. It can be a 0 face, a 1 face. As long as I turn corners, it's all okay. That's a green. That's got to go to a green circle part. These 2, in fact, yeah, they're both in the wrong position for where I need them. So again, what I'm going to do here is just do a setup to put that green piece there so I can turn it up into position. And then I'll undo that setup. And that is now what I need. I've got yellow going to yellow, red going to red, green going to green. I only need 3 to form. I then turn the face. The edge wings are all intact, but you can see 1, 2, 3 have now been reduced. I've got 1 left. That's where I start again. So now I'm looking around here for a blue circle part to go there. I've got a couple here to choose from. So I'll just put this first one up, which gets me a white circle part needed. There's one there, which is actually not good when I can't turn the bottom face. And let's just see. Yeah, there's nothing super obvious that I can do here. Might have to involve a couple of little interesting setups. Let's firstly try putting it there. So I'm going to put it to there. Because I haven't done this one yet, I can now do, oh no, I can't. It always gets me, that one. Because I wanted to turn that down to there, which would have made it fine. But, of course, it doesn't move because that's on the blue face. So we'll abandon that. Let's try it going the other way. So I put it to here. Now the problem is, what I want to do is turn it down and bring it up through here. So that's going to go like that. But you can see that's one that I've already done. So how do I deal with this? Well, I'm going to have to do one more setup move. This is partly where this puzzle becomes difficult. Let's just think back to what I've done so far. That's where this white piece started. I've done that corner turn and I've done this left face turn. I'm now going to have to put that out of the way with that same corner turn back clockwise. Finally, this is in a position to be put up where I need it to go. And I can use this one or this one as my third piece. Okay, it's in position. I just need to undo those setup moves. There's the first, there's the second, there's the third. Now, on this occasion, that third was not required to be undone, but sometimes you will end up turning one of these and you absolutely need to undo it. So I try and get into the habit of doing that all the time. So I've got blue going to blue, white going to white. The next one I need is an orange going to an orange. Again, I've got some oranges, but they're not in super good position. However, that is an orange circle one. So I am going to use this one here because the blue will be done, the white will be done, and this orange will remain done when I turn it. So I'll do that. In fact, it looks like all 4 are done. They're not really, but that's okay. I will now just start by placing another piece up into that position, and I'll continue to work my way through these. All right, I think I'm down to the last 3 here. I've got the red, yellow sitting there. I'm looking to place a red circle piece, which is sitting there, so that's good. I said last 3, but it's probably technically 4. It could be slightly more if I've missed some, but let's see how we go. I need a yellow circle piece to go there, which is here. Now that's going to be slightly tricky, but I haven't used this one yet. So I think I can turn that to there and now rotate that into position. Undo that setup. Now a white circle piece that's underneath here. Okay, so that can turn up like so. Now, next I need a blue circle piece, and if we look around, there is one there. It's the last one. I've got to go and turn these, and we'll see that I'm left with a blue-yellow and a yellow-blue. So what I'd like to do now, because I've got 2 left, is to get this yellow-blue opposite the blue-yellow. So we can do that. Now, before I turn it, if I just turn it now, you'll notice the white red and the red white have become disrupted. So that means I need to either get a red piece here or a white piece here. And let's see if either of them are easy enough. Not really. Let's have a look at the red. The red is, well, that red's not good. This red's fantastic. So we'll bring that red up into the picture. Okay, so when I turn the yellows and the blues, they are done, and those reds also stay done. Now, all of those central edges are done. You'll notice that this red-blue has come back perfectly to where it is. That is not guaranteed. And so I'm just going to pretend that that has not happened. For example, let's say that we were here and we had the green red and the red green set up ready to go, and we'd put two opposite colors there. So we'll now turn that face. That completes the central edges. But what's happened is the red blues now need to be put back into their correct position. The blue oranges are sitting there because they have not been moved. But if I just turn the red blue back, it disrupts what I've just done. So what that tells me is, in order to get that red blue back, even if it's here or here as well, I need to get 4 of the same central edges sitting there. Now I've got 2 yellows, so if I can, I would probably look at getting the other 2 yellows in there. That one I can certainly do pretty easily. So it's just this last one here. Again, this is going to be slightly annoying, but I think we can potentially do it in the same way that we did before. Maybe we had a setup earlier in this solve, and I think that will work just fine. Have to remember what it was I did. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now that I've got the 4 central edges of the same color, wherever that red blue is and wherever it needs to go, I turn it back into its position. They have remained reduced. So as we look around, we see that in fact everything is now completely reduced, as though it was a Grill's cube. So the next stage of the solve is to solve the triangles. And I've already got the blue triangles solved, so I want to build my oranges and reds up next. So I must do that using these one faces. So I'll complete the orange first. Got a couple of reds over here, so here's one that I can attach. And there's the other on the green face. Okay, so those triangles are done. Now I'll just manipulate things through the green, yellow, and white faces until I'm happy. Okay, the yellow's done. I've got one more of these to do. Okay, all of those triangles are done. That's pretty straightforward, as long as you don't turn the red, blue, or orange faces. Now, at this point, I want to check for a single twisted corner, because big pain in the neck if I need to fix it up later. And so what I'm going to do, because my central 0 face is the blue face, I'm treating this blue face as though it were the white face normally. People say, well, let's make the white cross. Well, I'm talking about the blue cross now. Not quite at the blue cross stage, but I want to treat this as my lower face, or my bottom face, or my first face. And so therefore, I want to get the 4 blue corners into their positions. Now, I cannot simply do what I'd normally do. This blue, yellow, red, it goes up there. Normally, I'd go like this. Up, up, down, down. You will notice everything's gone very, very awry there. And the reason for that is because I've turned that red face. So instead of that, I need to only turn the yellow face and the white face and put it up. Doesn't matter if it's correctly oriented or not. What else have I got? Blue, orange, white. I can certainly turn the green face, so I can turn that position around, put it on, and turn it up. blue, orange, yellow, same thing. Turn its position down using the yellow face. Turn it onto position and turn it up. And I've got one more here, the blue, white, red. Okay, so all the blues are done. The greens obviously must be done. I don't think this is necessary, but I like to do it anyway, just to check that they're in 3 cycle. In fact, I can guarantee it's not necessary because it's not going to change the orientation of the stickers. But hey, I've got a slight bit of OCD, so let's do it. Those two are in position. Those two are swapped. So I would normally say, hey, get a 3 cycle. There you go. That's a 3 cycle. It has not affected the orientation of the greens, so we're good to go. What we're going to do is basically see whether we need to twist a corner now. So if I look at these two, that's got a twist clockwise, that's got a twist anti. They sort of cancel each other out. Same over here. And if I want, I could just do numerical count here. And I could say, well, that's been twisted clockwise, that's a +1. Anti-clockwise, that's a -1. I'm back to 0. +1, -1, back to 0. So the blue face is perfectly good. Now the green face, that's a 0. This is a -1. So overall I'm on -1. That's a -1. So overall I'm on -2. That is a -1. Overall I'm on -3. And that, of course, is the same as a 0. So no corners need twisting here. And just in terms of why -3 would be a 0, -1, -2, -3. You'll notice it comes back to solved. So I do not need to twist a corner in this state, but let's say that I did. I would do the following. I would twist a corner, and not a corner on the blue-red face. I'd twist one over here like that, whatever direction I needed. So let's say that I had a +1 overall, which means one corner was twisted clockwise. Then I would need to twist that corner or another corner anti-clockwise. So I would do that twist, and then I would go ahead and solve those triangles. Now again, this corner is not a good corner to do it because I've got those there. It's still possible, but that is the sort of thing I'd do. And that's been done on many of the other videos for this. In this case, as I said, the corners are perfectly oriented. I will not encounter a single twisted corner at the end. Well, the next stage is to reduce the big edges. And that means I've got orange, white, orange, white. I'd like an orange, white in the middle. You can see here that's not reduced because it's wrongly oriented. The thing that I want to do very first is to deal with these blue, red and blue, orange parts. They've been sitting there unreduced for a while. Let's finish them off. So I'll look for the blue, red first. And I notice that it's sitting here, and normally I'd go, cool, I'll just turn that up, up, down, down, but that is not correctly oriented. So what I can do is turn a side face, and now that will turn in so that it is correctly oriented. So I can just do a down, down, up, up, that sort of thing. Now magically, that has got that one done as well. It just happened that that was over here. I'll absolutely take that. The blue, red's done. Now the blue, orange, I want to bring that out. Then I can do the same thing. I can move it up on a side face and put it back in. Okay, so those two are done. What I do now is just work my way through all of the rest of them, whatever looks good. So there's a green-white pair. I'm looking for the other green-white piece. There's one here. Now, I need to get it. I cannot turn the orange face to put it up there. So I can only turn the faces which are one faces. Okay, so I'll see if that works. I've been able to turn that so that now I can rotate the corner and the green whites correctly go there. Now, this is another section where it is trickier than normal, because what I would normally do would just be turn that on. Almost all of my faces would be one faces. I would take that off and replace it with something else, maybe this one. So I'd go like that, undo, undo. And what you can see is that everything has become disrupted here because I involved a zero face. So I definitely don't want to do that. How do I achieve this? I need to replace this with something else that's not done, and I want to only be turning white, green, yellow faces as I do it. So I can bring this over to here, perhaps replace it with this one, or this one, or this one, whatever I like. In fact, I'll just do that one there. That is complete. And then I want to put the corners back. Okay, so there's the green white that I just did. I'm probably going to work through every single one of these because there's sometimes a lot of setup moves that are needed. Okay, here's a red yellow that I can see turns onto another red yellow. So I'll take that. Now, I want to replace it with something else. I can this time use this one here. And I'm only turning those one faces when I do that. Undo that. The red yellow is done. Let's find the other red yellow. Okay, it's over here. I can't turn the orange face, so I must put it onto that green face. Let's see what makes sense in this scenario. And this is just a matter often of moving things around until you see what you need. There we go. That can now turn across there to make a triplet. Again, I'd like to turn it to there, but that's the orange face, so that's no good. Can I do it turning the green face? Yes, I can, because I can replace it with that one. All right. Next one. There's nothing that's super obvious, so let's see what we can make. I'll just pick one and go with it. So I've got a green yellow. I'd like to see if that green yellow could be attached, perhaps firstly to this one. No, that's going to turn up like that. That's no good. What about to this one? Yes, that'll work just fine. So we've turned that up. Now, okay, this is one of those ones where it's tricky. One of the things about replacing this piece, you'll notice that as I turn that corner, it involves this edge, and this edge. That means that I can't use those edges in my replacement. In other words, I can't turn it onto here and involve this piece because it has been disrupted from that corner. So what I'm going to have to do instead, because I also want to turn white, green, and yellow, is to do something like a setup move that puts my new piece up to this position and now involve pieces down here. Again, I don't want to involve that piece. Okay, so let's put this one onto there. That's done. Let's undo the setup. What was it? Well, I just look at the triangles and go, well, that must have come back to there, which can then be turned back into place. And that is safely wherever it is. It was the green yellow, I think, was the thing that I was trying to make there. So that's two parts of it. Let's see. Can I now turn that to there? And I can make the triplet. That is much nicer because now that can be turned across to there. This can be involved because it's not one of these edges on this corner. So I can involve that and I can involve that or that. Take my pick. Undo the corner turn, onto the next one. And what I hope normally is that there are things which make sense. Here's a really nice one. I can just cycle through that central edge to complete that one there. White, red. Now let's have a look at the white, red. We'll see if we can get this around. Now that one, Okay, I've turned it around so this one was in position. That can be made now. Now let's see. I don't want to use that. I can use this one here, so that'll be fine. And then the corners can return. Now I think I was just making white red, so there's a pair. Where's the other one? Sitting over here. Once again, I cannot turn it around this face. I must use yellows, greens, and whites. Let's just, what's going to happen when I do that? I think that'll work nicely. Yeah, okay. Position so that that pair will now turn onto that piece, make it a triplet. Let's have a look. I can turn it across here and replace it with that one. Okay, that is done. Put back the corners. I'm not that far away now because I've already had 2 done. I've done a few. There's 4 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3 on the side, 4 there. So that's 8. So we're down to the last 4. Let's do 1 more initially. Just having a look and seeing if anything's really nice and logical. Yes, the orange green can turn to there. Now, let's see. That's the only one, because these other 3 are on that corner. That's the only one that can be involved. And I can't turn the orange face. So again, I'm going to have to do a setup here. So I'm going to turn the green face to set it up so that I can involve the green and yellow on my replacement. This is the one that I want to replace to there. So I can involve this as my 3rd piece so that this one comes back and does the replacement. I did have a setup, and I can tell that because if I turned the corners back, things would not look correct. So we'll bring that around to there, and down we go. Orange-green pair. Oh, there's a nice orange-yellow pair as well if I want it. And in fact, I would look at this and say, I actually need the last 3 to be in pairs, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to go ahead and put this orange-yellow into there. Now, I will need this as my 3rd piece. So I need to get that across somewhere else initially. So let's move that there. That's ready. However, this is not, because that's going to currently turn wrongly oriented. Now, ordinarily, I'd just turn it down to here, but you can see that breaks what I've done. So I'll attempt to just rotate that green face so that now I can turn it down on that white face. That's the one that I need for my 3rd piece. So this orange-yellow is going to come up to here and complete that one. That will leave me 1. So white, blue, white. Yeah, that is white, blue, yellow, blue, and orange, green. As I said, I already had the orange, green pair. I'd like now to attempt to make a white, blue pair or a yellow, blue pair. Let's see if I can do the white, blue pair. That's no good because the white comes to there. Now what happens if I, instead of that, that will work to make that white blue pair. So that's okay. I need to go and find the 3rd piece and just make sure that's going to be workable. Let's have a think. If I was to do that, put the white blue pair there, there is my 3rd piece. Now, is it in a position to use? Not yet. So I can happily turn the yellow face. I can't turn this on because it would involve the red face. So what I'll need to do as a setup initially is to rotate the green face to make my 3rd piece there. Now the reason that this is okay is because I don't want to involve this piece. So if I push that out the way, I said puth or something, I said if I push that out the way, that can now be used to replace this one, and that'll be my third piece. Okay, that's done. I'm going to undo that setup and now put the pieces back. Let's see what I've managed to do here, if anything. I have in fact not only, I've unintentionally, I think I had the orange-green pair, I've created an orange-green triplet. Now I don't actually want that, because at this point, if you've watched any of the other videos like this, you'll note that this is one of the scenarios that I'm happy with, because what I can normally do is turn this onto here, flip this piece, and then bring it back, and it will solve those two. The problem is now I do not have 3 one faces around a corner, so I cannot do that routine at all. I'm going to show you later how I do flip completed triplets, but for now that's not going to work. So what I'm going to need to do instead is I'm still going to turn this on here to make a double there. I now am going to have to use something that I just accidentally made, the orange-green. I'll just for now put that down there, to use as my third piece. It's going to break it apart, but that's okay. I actually want that for the end. So my thing at the moment is, how do I get that green orange, or in fact any third piece, it doesn't have to be that green orange, it can be any third piece, into a position where I can use it. Let's say this one here. Okay, let's go to make that double. Now remember that normally I would go this to here, this to here, this to here, but I cannot involve that edge. And so again, I'm going to do a setup to put it here. Now I can replace it with this one. Okay, undo the setup and then undo the corner turns, and yes, it's going to break it apart, but that is okay, because what I now have is 1, 2, there was a third somewhere. I'm going to actually get them on, there they are, 1, 2, 3 pieces, which are a pair and a single. That is what I need to finish these off. Oh, I said this was a hard puzzle. It is, and the fun's not over yet. Let us, firstly now, I want to try and position them so that one of them could make a triplet like that. So that's good. These two are ready. I need to see, when I turn the other one, what I'm going to be doing, if you think about this, I'm going to be turning this up and then replacing this with the third piece. However, I note that it's the left and the center piece there that are going to turn back to here. And so I need my third piece to be able to turn over to here, so that it's those two pieces that go left and center. And because they're here, they are right and center, they will turn around correctly to complete what I need. And so that tells me now I have the 3 pieces set up. I've also been able to do it on one faces, so there's no issues with that. So here I go, turn that on to make that triplet, replace it with this one. That's done. Now I'll turn the corner back. You'll notice those two are not going to be broken, and in fact they're going to come around and complete that final triplet. And every other triplet is also done. So that is pretty full on, and that is the reduction of the big edges complete. Now we come to the final major stage of this puzzle, and this can be an absolute pain in the neck. It can also be not too bad. It's rarely easy. In fact, not once have I encountered an easy scenario here. So again, I'm going to see if I can take you through as it happens. So what I want to do is place my reduced edges and flip them as I go. So I've got the blue-red. Blue's like my white cross, as I mentioned earlier. I've got the blue-red and the blue-orange. Let's see if I can turn the blue-yellow into position. But keep in mind, I cannot turn the orange or the red faces. So I can only turn them up and around like this. Now that blue-yellow, you can see that is correctly oriented, so that'll turn nicely into position. What about the other blue piece? Blue-white. Again, that is able to be turned correctly into position. Don't worry, they're not all going to do that. I guarantee it. What I would do then is start placing whatever I can into the middle layer. So I'll just find something that's not green and see if it's going to go. Now remember, I can only turn the yellow and the white faces here as side faces. So I'll turn the orange yellow in, that's okay. Let's try the yellow green. Where does that one go? No, I don't even want to bother with the green. Don't know what I'm talking about. I want to try the yellow red. Okay, now that looks good, doesn't it? Because you go, oh, that will turn down. But of course, oh no, I can't turn the red face. So if I was to place this, I would have to place it like that. And now we have a flipped edge. So let's just have a think. I know that I need to flip that yellow-red edge. Now, what I'd like to do is have a look and see if there's another edge that needs to be flipped with the same color. So what I'm initially going to do is actually just place it in there just to get an idea of what needs flipping and what doesn't. That one, where was the one that placed? I can't even remember. Was it yellow-orange? I think it was. Let's put that in. Orange-green. That's okay. No, that doesn't even, because that's not orange-green, that's orange-white. Where is the orange-white? Over here. So we'll bring it up to that face and see if that will go in okay. Red-white. That also is okay. So far it's the red, yellow, and now you can see these three greens are correctly oriented. I want all the greens on the top to be correctly oriented. There's the one that's not. Now here's the problem. I would like to flip orange, green, and red, yellow, but I need one of them to have the same color. In other words, I need a piece with either a red or a yellow. I don't have that. So what I would initially try is to say, well, do I have a green-red piece that I could use instead? And I don't actually know if it's going to work yet, because yes, I have a green-red piece, but they have to be positioned into the right positions in order for this to work. So what am I talking about? Well, what I want to do is use either the orange or the red face and do a sune followed by a U-turn. And I'm just going to show exactly what I mean with, let's have a look, with these two pieces here, the orange blue and the orange yellow. Now keep in mind that normally, if I was to do a flip of two pieces, I would have them here and here, and I would be going down, down, up, up, and then position across, up onto position, undo, undo. Now you can see straight away why that does not work. It's because the orange blue, yes, some of it is being flipped into its same position. So has the orange yellow, but clearly it's also damaged what I had going on. And let's think about what that actually means. If I have an orange blue flipped into position, what that will also mean is that I rotate a piece around to there, but retain its position. You might be thinking, what on earth? Well, have a look at this orange yellow. If I was to be able to rotate that around to there, so it was orange yellow, then I could go down, down, up, up, and it moves across. In fact, I could do it the other way to make that clear. So I'll do a down, down, up, up with the right turn. Moves across to there, and it has flipped. So here's the thing about this. When I talk about flipping two edges, I can achieve the same result by swapping their positions from here to here and from this one to this one. If I swap the positions of those two edges, it is exactly the same result as flipping two edges in place. So I'm going to show you how I would do that. What I need, as I said, is the orange or the red face as my up face, and I need my side face to be a one face. That green face will do nicely. If that is the case and the side face is on the right, the pieces will live here and here, and I'll be doing a normal sune followed by a U-turn. Watch what happens. There's the sune. Now I do a U-turn. That has not been moved. That has not been moved, but you'll notice the orange yellow and the orange blue have been swapped in place. And it's a fantastic little move. And that is the same as if I had flipped the pieces in place. And again, I'll now demonstrate what I mean by that. If I was to go orange blue, I can now flip that over. Can I now get that back to there as a blue orange? Absolutely I can. Turn it down to there. And then if I turned it up, it would be blue orange. So that is the thing that we're trying to do here. Let's undo all of that. I'm going to undo, in fact, to undo it, what I'll do is show you the mirror. If my pieces are front and right with a one face on the left, then I carry out a left-hand sune, followed by a U prime. And this time you can see they have swapped positions, they have not been touched. Now, with that in mind, what we want to do is consider the edges that we have. As I said earlier, I've got a yellow red and a green orange, both of which need to flip. Now you'll notice that when I did the flipping routine with these two, they, on the top, were both the same color. That is essential because what's happening here is that really the outer parts are swapping, but the inner circle parts on the top face stay where they are. So if I didn't have the same color, it would be like the orange of the orange white would end up with that yellow. That's no good. So that's one of the challenges here. If I have a red yellow to flip and a green orange, they do not share a common color. So what I need to do is just try and work my way through another piece and another little cycle or pathway through different pieces until I can end up flipping all the ones that I need. Also, you will have noticed that I had to do the up turns on a zero face and the right or the left turns on a one face. That's also very important. So I would begin by just seeing whether there was a simple way I could involve another piece initially. So I've got a green orange here, and I note that there's a green yellow that I could potentially use. And the reason I say potentially is that they have to be able to be placed on this orange or red face so they are adjacent to each other. Now it looks to me, if I just turn that green yellow around like that, and then the green orange up, they have actually landed pretty much where I want them to be. So remember, the reason that I'm trying to do this is to say, well, the green orange will flip, that'll be good. Then the green yellow will be wrong. But I could potentially use that with the red yellow. So what I wouldn't mind doing is saying, well, will that actually work? If I flip this around, it's essentially swapping these two pieces. So the green yellow will end up here, which means that I will then have yellow green here. Now that means that may be a big issue because the yellow red, you can see, is going to turn up into the same place, but I need it to turn up adjacently. Now, just because that doesn't work does not mean I'm not going to carry it out. It may be the only option I have. However, what I would do is look to see, is there another possibility? Instead of the yellow green, what if I was to use the yellow, not the yellow red, the other of the greens, the green red? Let's see if that would work. If I could flip that with the green orange. So the first thing to see is, would it actually go into the correct position? I could put it up there, and yes, that will be adjacent to the green orange. That would become correct, that would become wrong, and it would be green red, which means when that went over to here, that would be red green, and then I'd have red, yellow. So in fact, that looks to be the better option. So remember, the two pieces that I'm trying to flip are green, orange, yellow, red. I have to involve a third piece, at the very least one other piece, which shares a colour. This one happens to share both colours of that piece. Does not necessarily mean it'll still work, but I think this will. So let's go ahead and do that first. We'll flip the green red and the green orange, which of course means swap their positions here. I have a 0 face on top. I have, in fact, a 1 face on the right here because these are in this position, so this will be the face I turn, which means it's an ordinary sune. Followed by a U-turn. There we go, they have been flipped. Now, I'm pretty sure that I can move the red-green over to there in position, and that red-yellow will come up, and I should be able to get those two flipped, which will then get that one correct. This one, which has just become incorrect, will then also become correct. Now you might say, I just flipped the green-orange. Has that actually changed anything? Well, if I tried to put it in place, remember I can't turn that face, so if I tried to put it in place using another face, perhaps the yellow face, you'll notice that suddenly that is correctly oriented. That is what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so now I would look to say, if they're here, I'd need to turn that face. That's no good. What if I have them over here? I'd be wanting to turn this face, and yes, that yellow face is perfectly okay to turn. So this time I'll do a sune with the left turn first, and that will swap these two pieces here and should mean that all of our pieces are flipped correctly. So they are correctly oriented. So let's carry that out now. And the U prime to end with. You can see straight away that green-red has suddenly become correctly oriented all of a sudden. That was one of the ones that was originally, well, it was flipped over and I needed it, I think. So I believe now that everything should be okay. I'm going to go and try and place all the pieces into the positions again and see what happens. Got an orange-white up there. I can turn the white face. So that now places correctly. That's fine. What's here? I've got yellow-red, and I can see that that yellow-red places into position, and all the green pieces are also correctly oriented. So that was successful, and that's the way to think through what you might encounter. I would probably call that a relatively straightforward version of what needs to be done at the end, because many pieces were already in place. And so what I'm going to do now is set up and just do a potentially slightly more difficult one. Well, let's have a look at this scenario. I've got everything in place except for these two here, which are flipped. Now, the interesting thing about it is that that's in place. That's in place. Those two actually need to swap. So if I was to just do an ordinary sune using my one face as the up face, I could potentially cycle things like that. So I could do, well, in fact, a left-hand sune would, I think it's a left-hand sune, would get them going around that direction. And that would then be in place. That would be over here. That would be here. I'd have a swap of two pieces that were opposite. That can be pretty crazy. So we'll see how we go with this one. The first thing to try and do is just see, do they have a common color? They do. It's a green, but can I get that green up onto the orange or the red face at the same time next to each other? And no, I can't, because you can see they're on the same line. So that's not going to work. So the next thing to do would be to consider whether there is another color. I'm going to have to go through something involving yellow and white, I think. For example here, I could try the yellow orange and the yellow green. So if I moved the yellow green to there and then the yellow orange to that position, now I've got those two next to each other. I would have to do it so the one face is on this side, and I'll carry out this one first. Okay, so the yellow green's good now. The yellow orange What was the other one? And this is part of the problem. You get lost in what you're trying to flip. The yellow, orange, and the white, green. How about a yellow, orange, and a green, orange? Would that work? Well, no, it wouldn't, because I would be turning that up to there, and this would go to the same line as well for the orange. About a yellow, orange, and there's something else, perhaps a yellow, green. No, I just did that one. What about a white, green, and a green, orange? That may in fact work. White, green, and green, orange. I could turn them up like that. Okay, so the white, green is wrong. The green, orange is actually correct, but I'm going to have to sort of sacrifice it in the hope that that'll become right, and then the green, orange, and the yellow, orange will also become right. I think they will in the end. So let's do these two first. Okay, they're done. Now I can clearly see the green, orange is not good. What about the orange, yellow? Because that's the other one which is not correct. I'm now hoping, of course, that they will both end up turning next to each other on this face, and they have. So it's now just a question of positioning them as I need to and carrying out this final one, I think. Now, if all's well, I'm going to now replace my pieces, and I think everything has been flipped correctly, but I'm going to check. So white, red, let's put that one in. That's good. White, orange. Oop, can't do that. I'm turning the orange face, so I must turn the white face. Orange, yellow. I reckon this is good because these three greens are good. So unless the orange, yellow is wrong, I think we are home. Okay, we are home. So I would then do something like that. You can see that I've got two in place, two swapped. So therefore I can either turn it like this, do some sunes, or I can just use that as my fourth piece and say, all right, I'm going to get two at the back placed. So let's do that first. Yes, I'll turn that across. So those two at the back are done. That's done. You can now see that I've got a swap of two. Well, what do we do when that happens? Turn the upper face one turn and go ahead and resolve the two edges at the back. There's the green red. How about the green white? And that will then leave a 3 cycle. And because everything is correctly oriented, that 3 cycle will work perfectly. So that's got to go there. That's got to go there. And I will be able to do it without turning this orange face. That's the point. Well, that is the most difficult part of the solve, in my opinion, done. We are now down to corners. The fantastic thing about the corners is any face can be used whatsoever. I'm going to use the corner piece series here, so I'm just looking for corners that will roll along a side or along the back. And again, don't need to worry that that's happening, because that will all come back to where it should be. That one has been placed. Let's see what else we can find here. Nothing that's going to roll. So I'll have a look at this yellow, blue, red. That normally would go across like that, but I'm going to do a setup to now make it go along the back. Okay, that's done. What does that leave me with? I've got a green, white, orange here that could potentially go across the diagonal. Green, red, yellow can come down to here, and let's involve a third piece there so that I can get that out of its position. It's at least 3 done, maybe 4. Let's have a look. I've got 4 left by the look of it. Orange, green, yellow. Again, I'll just do a setup to put it there and make it go across to the back. And that'll leave me 3 left. Now, I've got the orange coming down to here. I've got either the green going across the diagonal to there, or I could have them coming like this so the green goes here. Whatever is easiest. And in this case, it looks to me like the easiest would be to have it go like this, and the green, or the piece in the green face, will be able to come straight up to there. And I'll do that by just turning them off, pulling it up, and putting it back. And that now will enable me to carry out the final 3 cycle. Now I need to undo the setups. And you can see not only is it solved, but there are no single twisted corners. And of course, the reason for that is that earlier in the solve, I looked for them. I ensured that I did not have the single twisted corner then, and therefore I'm not going to have it now. So as I said, I think that's probably the hardest of the lot of these grills. A great challenge. I hope you enjoyed it if you watched it all the way through. As always, thanks for watching.